Alright, comic book collectors Sheffield, thanks for joining me again. This week we're looking at some random comics and a few action figures. So, if you're not interested in action figures, you can skip the end of this video. If you're not interested in comics, you can skip to the end of this video. And if you're not interested in comics or action figures, I appreciate you hate watching this video. To start with, we've got Real Screen Comics 68. There's some Fox and the Crow stories. Flippity Flop. And Tito in his burrito. Which, yeah, okay. The Flash 155. One that I should have had in my collection long before now. It's the Gauntlet of Supervillains. Unfortunately, the rogues are all hoisted by their own petards. The front cover does mention a 7th supervillain though. Any guesses on who's missing from the lineup? Yeah, it's Grodd. He ends up getting a bit of a twatting anyway. House of Mystery 92. Menace of the Golden Globule. The Secret of Keating Castle. What is that secret? Ah, the wispy creature in the castle grants powers that can only be used for evil. Personally, I don't see a problem with that. Mystery of the Teenage Swarmy. And the Sleepers from the Past. Strange Adventures 72. The Skyscraper that came to life. Puzzle from Planet X. The Time-Wise Thief. And The Man Who Lived 9 Lifetimes. UFO Encounters. This features reprints of the Gold Key UFO series of comics. It says there's more than 60 true stories in here. I'm not entirely sure about the true part, but yeah, they weren't kidding about how many stories there are. I'm not going through all that lot. There are a few other volumes of this as well. I'm not entirely sure, but that may well cover the entirety of the Gold Key issues. And for the last of the comics, I was quite fortunate to come across the first appearance of the Avengers. This features the Roman invasion and the Mirage Maker. These are reprints from the old British TV comic. That's the comic called TV Comic. Next, there's been some requests to show some action figures recently. I mean, I say some requests. There's been one. So I've pulled out a few to show. First, it's the DC Universe Classics Validus Build-A-Figure. They did release the Clubhouse pack some years ago, but I never got around to picking it up. I don't even look at what that set goes for these days. Also, we didn't get many Legion villains in DC Universe Classics. There's Imperiex, but I've always thought of him more of a Superman villain. And then there's Tyre. What are you doing? No, that's a Tyre. This is Tyre. That's not my fault. So yeah, I know, that was the old Kenner Superpowers figure, not the DC Universe Classics one. I do own it, it's in one of my boxes somewhere, but I just couldn't find it in the time limit I had for making this video. But it was a difficult choice to make. Do I cut that joke entirely, or do I roll with it and use the figure that I can find? I made my choice, and I will have to live the rest of my life with it. Thank you. Next, we've got the Brimstone Builder figure. You may be familiar with this character if you've read the Legends miniseries. I don't think I've ever seen him outside of that, though. Now, I have to say, this won't be most people's preferred look for this next character, but it's the Chemo Builder figure. He did look like this, though, when he was used as a radiation bomb and dropped on Bloodhaven. To show some impartiality, we've got some Marvel stuff as well. Here's the Giant-Man Builder figure. They were a bit cheeky with this one, as his hands and feet also came as separate pieces. That meant you needed to pick up 10 figures to complete him. I managed to pick mine up just missing a hand and a foot though, so I didn't have too much trouble tracking those down. Then there's the Sentinel. He didn't come in as many parts, I think you only needed the 6 figures for this one. And then there's Galactus. You'll be seeing more of him in the Fantastic Four film this year. Oh, and you'll be seeing more of him in a little bit as well. Very recently, Hasbro have been doing what they call HasLabs, which is a way to gouge money out of fans. No, it's a way of getting larger items, like vehicles and figures released, that shops wouldn't take a chance on stocking. Here's the HasLab Giant-Man. He came with a few extra faceplates and antenna. As you can see, he's got his Marvel Zombie one on. Here's the HasLab Sentinel. You get a couple of extra figures and heads with this one. As you can see, I've got the Master Mold head on mine. And the last one for now. Can you guess which one it might be? Yes, it's Galactus. This guy came with some extra faceplates, a Doom head, and some extra heralds, the Silver Surfer, Frankie Ray Nova, and Moog. I've got him with his skeleton face on, although I've no idea what that relates to. So I hope you enjoyed this brief look at some of my action figures. Maybe we'll show some more in another 50 episodes or so. That's it for this week. Once again, thanks for watching.